What up, all you hip hop heads? Welcome to Doing Time, episode 14. Our special guest, XL the Beast.
Yeah.
Got my co host, Brutus Maximus, Raw Side Hip Hop. 4 words.
How we doing?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Chilling, man. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Good to see you finally.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the invite. I'm grateful. I want to give both you guys a shout out in the work that you're doing to keep our hip hop culture relevant and bring shine to, artists that aren't, majorly out there, people that are just, a lot of us working and doing our music at the same time. I want to commend you guys on that because, Guru once said to me years ago in a conversation, he said to me, listen, we can't complain that there's no shade to sit under when we get older if we didn't plant any trees when we were younger. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. You're planting seeds, you're cultivating hip hop, you're giving people a forum and a place to express themselves, to get love. You're putting shows together, you're doing reviews. I mean, all this stuff is really important. You know what I mean? So I want to commend you both on that. And I'm grateful for the invite and all the love that I get shown all the way around. I'm super grateful for it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. If it wasn't, like I say all the time, if it wasn't for the artists, we wouldn't be shit. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So it's all one big circle of life, circle of hip hop.
No doubt.
But for the people that don't really know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you've been doing this a very long time. You've been doing it a minute.
Yeah, I've been doing it a minute. So XL the Beast. I started with hip hop probably 7th, 8th grade. Friend of mine was in and out of the city a lot, and he introduced me to hip hop. And the first hip hop that I ever heard was the Fat Boys, Jailhouse Rap. And then I heard, yeah, man, it was the shit, yeah. Man. It was killer. And then came, LL, and then came Run DMC. And then came Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap and NWA. And I was like, oh, my God, I want to do that. And that's where it started. So, the first rap incarnation of me in high school was the Lyrical Sniper. Okay. And no joke. Back then, you had to put lyrical before everything you said, right. Because if you just called yourself the Sniper, people be like, you're a sniper. You never shot anything in your life, fucking liar. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's the Lyrical Sniper. And then I hooked up with my man Victor. We formed a group, DNV. Yep. And then after that, I became XL. And I was anointed XL by DJ G Squared, who was the DJ producer and rapper for the group I ended up becoming a part of called The Creators. Before The Creators started, we were in Canada. Vancouver, British Columbia. And we were in a group called Cypher. And it was half Canadian. And then me and Jeff were from Boston. Jeff was the rapper on it and the beat maker. And he was if you listen to that album right now, you can listen to it on YouTube, Cypher, 360 Degrees. It still holds up. So I'm going to tell everybody to check that out because it was ahead of its time. They brought me up there to be a goon. You know what I mean? I could rap a little bit, but I had hands, and they didn't have hands. So they brought me up there just to basically be a goon and, punch people in the face and shit like that. But I learned quickly. You know what I mean? So I started making hip hop with Jeff then. Then we came back to Boston. We formed The Creators. The initial Creators was me, G Squared, Jason from Special Teams, and this dude, he was in it for like a month. Natural Skills out of the Bronx. Then Big Juan, rest in peace, who was in Juice with Soul, he joined The Creators, and that's where you had the Four Horsemen, the Alvin Terrace All-Stars. Me, G Squared, Jason, and Big Juan, we formed The Creators. And that was where my hip-hop journey really got solidified. And then, we started, I've been rocking since then. You know what I mean? I've been rocking since probably about professionally like 93, 94, something like that. You know what I mean? Like get on stage, putting records out, doing videos, getting down and all that. That was back then when we started.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say you started out by being a goon because you could throw hands. buy one get one free kind of deal.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I said just this morning my time, you attack tracks. You know what I mean? It's like it's just inherent in your nature to just go at something. And Murder Pig, the latest single, you do the same thing. But Heavy Hands was very much that. You've got that flow where you just look at a beat, look at a mic in a booth or whatever, and you just go at it. Yeah,
man. Thank you. My approach. Listen, I studied music as a young kid. Okay, I studied. I played the accordion. I was a state champion at like 12, 13 years old, and I was housing like 20-year-old men. So music runs in my family on both sides. My father was very adamant about preparation and work. And he told me, he's like, look, you're very talented. What are you going to do when you get into a room full of people that are as talented as you or more? Did you do the work necessary to ensure that you belong in that category? So that means you have to fucking go twice as hard as everybody else to ensure that your spot is there. So when I get on a song, especially if it's a song I'm going to do with another artist, if you notice when I do collaborations, I pick real deadly rappers. Like I pick people who, like, if you slip for 1 second, you're going to get murdered on your own track. And from where I come from, you can't let that happen. So I believe that steel sharpens steel. And I believe that certain types of songs, they require that aggression. They require for me to set the tone with my cadence, my flow, my word selection. You know what I mean? So some of the songs very much like that. That whole album that you heard, the Heavy Hands and the Deluxe, 80% of that record was from 15 to 10 to 12 years old, the songs. There was only 3 or 4 new songs on there. The songs that you heard on that, I had been sitting on for almost 12, 14 years. Wow. I mean, I'm serious. Like, there's songs in there that are so old that we had to remix them because the beats were just like, they wouldn't fit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we had to change the raps a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? Because it was just, I just had to update some of the stuff, but a lot of that stuff is older, to be honest with you. I sat on it for a long time.
Right. Now, you come from like the generation before the generation that's like really starting to hit off right now, especially on the independent scene around Boston, Worcester, and all that. You came up right before that. What do you think? Who's like who do you have your eye on right now?
Well, I mean, I love what Millie's is doing, right? I mean, how can I look at Millie's, like, I'm so proud of that guy. You know what I mean? I mean, like, just like, I'm looking at him just like in the spectrum of like overall success and grinding. There's a guy that worked and was like under the proverbial radar forever. And look at him now. He is everywhere and he is working his ass off. You know what I mean? I mean, there's like, I have I have a staple, staples in my library of artists from Boston that I'm always checking for and always looking. But I look at him, man, he's burning really bright right now. You know what I mean? Like, and and he deserves it. You know what I mean? And he's got the bars to back it up, and he's rolling with Jada. Okay. And Jada, he's got that's an official cosign. So there's a lot of other rappers and rap groups from Boston that I'm always checking. Like, there's like a whole bunch of different styles. There's a whole bunch of like independents and guys that are like in different subgenres of our culture that are doing great work. But right now I'm looking at him and what he's doing and how often he's releasing music and how he's really spitting and how he can really get after it. He's doing a little bit of singing now. Like, I'm really digging his path, and he's not really straying from his formula. And I give him a lot of respect for that because, the fan base can be really fickle. You try something new and people who think they know what hip hop is or what it should be are going to be like, oh, I don't like this. I like it when you do this better or that better. And it's like, as an artist, I see him sticking to what he's doing and doing it well. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm looking at him now. He's really ascending. You know what I mean? He's really going to this maximum level. And I'm so proud of that kid, man. I wish him all the success in the world and continued success. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking at right now, because he's got the ball right now. You know what I mean? Let's keep it 100. You know what I mean? He's got the ball right now. So salute to Millies. You know what I mean? Salute to him. That hard work paid off. I mean, you can do this. Look at him. He's doing it at a high level. So, yeah, man, I'm really amped for him. I'm watching him all the time, what he's doing. I think it's great. You know what I mean? Because I don't do that. Like, that style of hip hop really is his. You know what I mean? And like, but I salute him, man. I think he's dope. You know, I think he's really dope.
Yeah, that's cool, and that's cool it's cool to recognize the work that comes before, obviously the success, which is really important. But it's also, we talk about it a lot. You know, fans always wanting the old stuff, or you know, you liked a particular album, so you want the artist to continue to recreate that moment in time. But artists transcend that, and I talk a lot about leveling up. And that's that's not necessarily changing your style. That's, you know, being sharper, getting your bars sharper, picking better beats. The whole package. Leveling up isn't just to do with creating modern music. There's a whole package to that. So it's really good when you go back and speak to that, because, you know, he's still doing it. He's still spitting his bars and whatever else, but he's been able to add different elements and continue that trajectory to actually become successful. So that's cool to hear. Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, I think it's really important. I think that, you know, I often hear a lot of people failing to recognize, appreciate, or respect the sovereignty of the artist. Okay. And you know, listen, when you're an artist, you're going to move different as you get older. You're going to learn more about your craft. You're going to do more things. And, you know, people that are fans and listen to music, a lot of times they identify music with a point in their life that they attach to amazing memories. Okay. So they don't ever want to leave from that spectrum. And I know a lot of rappers that have had like major careers that were in the 90s or the 2000s, and they try to do something new, and people are like, you know, and I hear people say this stuff like, oh, this new rap is whack, or this, and that. I'm like, dude, listen, that music ain't for you, homie. It's not. Listen, you're old. Okay, that music is for kids. That energy ain't your energy anymore. Your parents said the same thing when they heard you playing Wu-Tang or Bone or whatever else. You sound like your parents. Now, it might not be the thing you ride with, because that's not your energy anymore. That's not your life arc. You move and you have the things that you like. Some people like marinara sauce. Some people like Alfredo. That don't mean that the people that don't like the other, that don't mean the other dish is whack because you don't like it. You know what I mean? As an artist, I can see beauty in anything that is created by another person. I can see beauty in all of these different types of music. And you want to know what, dude? There's been whack music and whack hip hop since hip hop got started. If you listen to Melly Mel, he's going to tell you that Rapper's Delight, none of them dudes thought those dudes should be rapping, that they were whack. Okay? That's how far back that stuff goes. Okay? So let these kids eat. You know, let them get their bread. Don't come at me and tell me you ain't gonna listen to somebody's music because they got a certain haircut or they got a certain hairstyle. Come on, man. I mean, I can remember people looking at me when I wore cross colors that was like loud and obnoxious colors cracking on me. And I was like, whatever, man, it's my style. I'm a kid. You know what I mean? Right. That energy is different. That music ain't for me. My son listens to a lot of it. And I hear some of it like Juice WRLD. I would have never listened to Juice WRLD if it wasn't for my son. But he was the one that hooked me up to that. And you know what? Yeah, there's some of his music that I like. It's a shame he's dead. But you know what? My son's a lot younger than me. What motivates him? Look, we got to embrace these kids, okay? They come from hip hop. They're our children. You understand? They're our kids. Hip hop is just almost 50 years old. It's not classical music. It's not rock and roll. It ain't been around for 100, 200 years. It's brand new. So it's going to go through changes. You got to embrace that shit the best you can. You never make yourself look good trying to make someone else look bad. You know what I mean? So let them eat, man. Those kids, it's hard, man. It's hard to put out a record. It's hard to record an album, mix it, master it, shoot videos, write treatments, do all this stuff, then put it out and spend the money on promo and mark. That shit is hard. Anybody does that? Salute to you. Salute to you. All the power to you. May you succeed.
You're absolutely right. The evolution is a big thing, I think. It's like some people get stuck in their box.
Yeah.
And some people get stuck in their lane and they don't want to evolve. And like, then they become like creatively stifling to other artists that they're trying to work with.
Yep.
And like, it's like, come on, man, you got to kind of like put your pride aside, put what you think, your ego, and work together and build together. And that's like one thing we all try to do is like link everybody together, because it's supposed to be a hip hop community. It's not sets against each other.
Nah, listen, man. I mean, look on the play devil's advocate. I understand about people who like what they deem to be like a purity of hip hop, like what their gold standards are. I understand that. Yeah. I'm not negating your relevance of your opinion or this, that, or the third. Okay, but the music nowadays is about a vibe, man. It's not about who can spit the best bars. Okay, I mean that's like a narrow segment of making music. Dude, listen, I'm a songwriter. Okay, I can rap my ass off. I can also sing my ass off, and I write songs bar for bar, lyric for lyric, as good as anybody in the game right now. Okay, my songwriting is somewhere else. I got songs coming on this next album where I'm just singing. I got songs where I'm singing and someone else is rapping. I got songs where I'm rapping. I got songs where I'm rapping hard and I'm singing. So it's like I'm gonna do look, my man Sean Price said it. He said, "The hell with a fan. They're here one day, they're gone the next." He goes, 1 minute they're with you, the next they're not. He's like, you got to do what's right for you creatively as an artist. This stuff belongs to me. It's a piece of me. Every single time I write something down, sing something, share something, do an interview, it's a part of my soul. It's a part of who I am, and I am giving it to people that if they like it, they like it. If not, well, I'm sorry. I need to do this for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's enough out there.
Oh, you're right.
In this society, there's enough now. The modern world, music gets released on the regular.
That's
there's
right.
enough stuff. You can find enough stuff that you like.
That's
and
right.
Put that energy into the stuff that you like without having to can the next stuff.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
So it's an interesting crabs in a bucket mentality where we feel like we need to dim someone's light for us to shine, and it's not the way that it needs to go.
Well, Brutus, a lot of what it is too. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Since like the invention of like the internet and the way that it's gone and social media, okay? Number one, people found out that you get way more attention for saying something negative than you do positive. Mm-hmm. We have taken out creativity for people who become people of influence, okay? So people become like these specters and influencers, and they don't really create anything, okay? They're created almost in a lab. So the respect for art and everything else, people know they're going to get more attention if they say something mean or something out of pocket than they will if they do something supportive. I don't entertain that energy. I don't want that energy around me. I put out music all the time. The majority of the response is good, but every once in a while I'll get somebody says, this is shit, or I don't like it, and I'm like, hey, look, thanks for listening. It's not for everybody, but I appreciate you. You want to know what happens? Let me tell you, it's a weird experiment. You know what happens 9 times out of 10 when I get those people on my page? They turn into fans. All they want is somebody to pay attention to them, to look at them, to pay. And you know what? Who am I to know what that person is going through? They might have somebody at home dying. Maybe they got nothing. Maybe they just lost somebody that they really care about. Maybe they're in a foul mood. Maybe they don't have the tools that they need to be able to deal with life on life's terms as a balanced person. So you know what? I'm going to give them 30 seconds. And maybe, just maybe, that'll change their mind. It don't cost me nothing. It don't cost me nothing to be decent to someone maybe having a bad day.
Yeah, and you look at people now, and that's true. Like, and the shock jock, shock jock's been around forever. They just didn't have such a large platform.
That's right.
Like we do now. We know clickbait. Clickbait headings. In sports, it's Colin Cowherd, all those sorts of guys.
Yep.
Skip Bayless. They make a living off being controversial, being shocking, and that's what gets the views. And I get that. But it's interesting that you talk about fans like that, because sometimes fans are just wanting to engage, and the only way you get cut through sometimes is to be negative, is to be criticizing, is to get
that's
that.
right.
Because, a lot of people won't take the time to say, hey, that's dope, or that's awesome, or that's great, or whatever. And people don't necessarily respond to the positive, but everyone always gets back at the negative. So
there you go.
Engaging.
That's it. So you just like, you got to kill them with kindness. If you can't help them, don't hurt them. You know what I mean? It's like, look, you got to save that energy for when you really need it. You know what I mean? Because, like, there's going to come times in your life where you're going to be pressed and you're going to have to step up or get stepped on. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know, because I come from an era where that was how it was. You speak about it, you be about it. And if you talk about it, you're going to get checked about it. All right? Like, here's something you guys may not know about Boston, about our city, Massachusetts. In this city, which is small in comparison to a lot of other cities, okay? We couldn't get a hip-hop record played on Lansdowne Street ever. Ed O.G. had a #1 record in the country and couldn't do a rap show here in Massachusetts. There were no venues to do live shows, not until like the late 90s. And when I tell you the only songs that they played at the club was "We on a World Tour" with Muhammad, my man, going each and every place with the mic. Now, hey, I love me some Tribe Called Quest, but I want to hear some other shit. They would not let us play it. They would not let us do shows. They wouldn't let us do anything. So there was a lot of anger. There was a lot of frustration and a lot of anger. So that meant when you popped off at the mouth, you had to see somebody over that. And that kept everybody on a level playing field. Nobody got too reckless because you knew there was nowhere to run. There was only one group of clubs that you could go to and hang out, try to meet girls. And if you got reckless and you got loud, you had to go there. And there was no place, no outlets for us. You know what I mean? It was a really, really, really frustrating time for a long time. You know what I mean? So that's where that reckless behavior comes in and that anger and frustration comes in. Now all of it's for show. You know, the majority of it's for show. But unfortunately, a lot of people are dying. You know what I mean? And that breaks my heart, you know? That breaks my heart. And it's the money behind that, Brutus. You know how you were just talking about, as I transition into this, you were talking about the negative reaction, how people are getting paid from being provocative. You know, you see a lot of these young rappers now are dying like every other week. Okay? And people want to blame drill rap or trap and all this. Listen, man. Those kids ain't got no bread. They ain't got no money. Follow the money. Who's putting those people out? Who's selling that type of music? Why aren't there more Public Enemies or Poor Righteous Teachers? Or why isn't there a balance anymore? Why isn't somebody like Chuck D modernized today telling us a story about the things we should be thinking about besides the flashy stuff? Because the people with the money know that provocative stuff sells. And these young kids, these young cats don't have any OGs around them because they locked them all up, right? Because they don't care about us. So they're going to put them on the street. And you got young kids that are sheep that are going to wolves for money. And then the wolves see the money that the sheep is getting, and the wolves swallow the sheep. And then you got dead bodies all over the place. And you know what the people with all the money do with the labels? They go out and they lock up another group of kids that they look at, say, this one's got this look, we can sell this. This one's got this. You got a little bit of a criminal record. Let's put them out. We'll tell them what kind of music to make. We'll tell them the stuff to say. And boom, dead rappers. You want to get away with murder? Kill a rapper. You don't see you never seen Aerosmith bucking shots at, you know, Van Halen. You know what I mean? You never seen Garth Brooks fighting with, you know, Travis Tritt. Come on, man. They don't care about us. They don't care. So that provocative nature came into our community, okay, when we used to have a balance, and it overran it, and now people are dying in real life all the time. And that's gross. That's gross.
It's amazing that they don't care because it's the #1 genre across the world. It's the #1 moneymaker in entertainment. No,
actually, it's not. Nope. Number one is pop music, biggest fan base.
True.
Number two is country music as the second largest fan base. 3 is hip hop. Okay,
I wouldn't think that.
It's the truth. I mean, you go down to Nashville and you travel around a little bit, you'll see. You see the homie Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
I love Jelly Roll. I love Jelly Roll, right? Jelly Roll is killing it in rock and roll and country and hip hop. Guy's like the Bo Jackson of rap. I love that guy. What an awesome guy. Oh my God. But yeah, pop music, country, and then hip hop. Hip hop influence is greater than anything else though. You know what I mean? You're right about that, Brad.
Yeah, but around the world, like in places like Germany, the Netherlands, places like that, hip hop's huge. It's a huge thing for them.
Oh no, it's massive. Yes.
It's amazing, and the way it stretches from here to Australia and back, it's a big thing. And the mainstream wants to use it and just bleed it.
Well, it's a business, right? That's what they do. It's a business model. That's all it is. And I understand it. And you got to know that going into it. Like, buyer beware. You know what I mean? But like when you're a kid, you don't know. You don't know. What do you know?
Right.
So you come from somewhere, you ain't got much, you want to make music. Somebody looks at you, they tell you, yeah, we're gonna give you some bread, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna hook you up. And you go and you do that, and then the label start telling you what to do here, who over there. You know what I mean? And then something happened to you, they're gonna sell just as many of your units for at least 2 years after you're dead as they're gonna sell. And let me tell you how fucked up they are. Okay, you look at World Star, you look at West Coast, East Coast versus West Coast. When they put that on the cover of the magazine, there wasn't no damn East Coast versus West Coast. That's a lie. That never existed. They did that to sell magazines. That's when that shit really started, okay? There was no East Coast, West Coast problems. All those guys were cool. There was problems like that went on in certain circles, but dudes from the West Coast will come here and East will go there. They never had no problem. They invented and manufactured that story. And two of the best rappers to ever live died behind it. And a slew of other gangsters you never heard about. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on, man. Like, when we feed into it. World Star, all this other shit, we feed into that. And look, but it's all a business. This is what they're doing. You are a commodity as an artist, okay? You have to understand that. If you're not, you have to make yourself one. But you have to be aware going into these businesses. You got to be aware of your publishing. You got to be aware of the deals they're going to give you. You got to have a real lawyer, not the family friend who went to law school and failed, or the guy down the street that chases ambulances. You need an industry entertainment lawyer, somebody who knows how to navigate this field, because if they can fuck you in any way, they're going to do that. That's just the business. It's how it is. You're either hanging on the cross or banging in the nails. Pick your side. You know what I mean?
And that's what they do. They create that desperation, and then they give you the path out. You know what I mean? They create that problem and then give you the solution. So that's right. That's right. You know what I mean? And it's like, look, man, when you ain't got no bread, if somebody came to me right now and said, XL, we've heard, I've got like what, 30 or 40 songs recorded. We want to hire you to do some writing. We want to buy a couple of songs. We want to give you a production deal and an album deal. We're going to give you $500,000. That'd be pretty hard to turn down. Right? That would be pretty hard to turn down. But if I look at it and they're going to own my publishing, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And but if I don't know about it, I'm going to take that money. I'm like, dude, I got no money. You're going to make me you're going to give me $500,000 right now? Oh my God. You know what I mean? You're going to take that bread. You're going to take that bread. And if you don't know, you got a bunch of yes men around you, people that just want to feed off of you, they're going to go along for the ride. And when that money leaves, your contract is still due. You got to buy beats. You got to have studio time. You got to pay for promo and marketing. You don't know all that. And now you in the hole, Yeah. So it's fucked up, but it's the name of the game. That's why you got to make yourself a commodity and try to get people to invest in you. You got to invest in yourself. Being an artist is not always great. You know what I mean? It's like an albatross that hangs around your neck. It's like when you're an artist, you have to create. And if you don't create, it's like if you had a little apple tree under a glass dome, okay? And it sprouted buds and it grew apples and you never picked those apples. Well, what happens? Those apples, they get really ripe, then they fall off the vine, and then they start to rot and fester inside of that little glass dome. It becomes toxic in there. Well, for a lot of us artists, for us not to be able to create, that's what happens. It starts to fester and build up inside us, and it changes who we are. It can make you depressed. It can make you angry. It can make you upset. You can lose your path. So you have to get it out of you in some way or form. And most of us, we have to work full time to support our life and our career. And the older you get, the harder it gets. But make yourself a commodity. Be a professional. Be ready when people show up. When you go to the studio, be ready. Work your ass off. You're going to do a video, show up with a treatment. Be on time. Be ready. Be an asset. Be somebody that people want to work with and go the extra mile with. That's the only way you're going to get ahead. That's it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Like the good thing about the internet and like social media is that you can make yourself your own brand and try to do everything in-house. And you don't have to have those leeches on you. That's one of the best things about the internet and the way the world works nowadays, I think, personally.
No, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, and you can build something by yourself if you have the right people around you. You just need that. Some people need a little extra help. Some people don't. Some people want to be lone wolves and just go do it themselves. But I really think that if you have a strong, solid team and a solid foundation around you and the right artists, you can really build something special, right?
Yeah, I think you need a team. Okay, like you can't do it by yourself, dude. I can't do it by myself. I am nowhere right now without Leeds and the Archetype. I am nowhere right now without John Glass and Nickel Plated and Rain. I am nowhere without these people. Nowhere. Okay, I'm just another guy that has skill and talent that never did anything with it. Okay, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't take a hiatus because I don't like making music. I took it because I had a lot of personal shit that happened. I lost and buried a lot of people, and I got real tired of shit, and I made a whole bunch of excuses and spent all this time in my life pretending to be something that I wasn't to myself, and it damn near killed me. Okay, so listen. You got, when you make yourself an asset and you make yourself somebody that works twice as hard as everybody else, you're going to attract like-minded people. Excuse me, and people that want the same results. And then you get fortunate. Cultivate those relationships, respect other people's work ethic and their time and their creative process, and always be ready. Don't waste anybody's time. Don't think you're entitled to anything. You're not entitled to anything. You know what I mean? Go and get it.
It's they always say the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Damn right.
But what I want to talk about now is obviously you're talking about Boston and how it's hard to get a hip hop show done. Obviously, Hip Hop Lifers are doing a fantastic job. We're starting to see a lot of shows and sort of stuff.
Thank you.
And we're starting to see a real camaraderie there. So New England, Boston, all that area is now really on the come up, and there's just so much talent. Like it is just there's so much talent in there. For an area that couldn't even get, shows played 20 or 30 years ago. So it's insane. Yeah. So, what do you see around Boston now? What's the culture like in terms of, you see a lot of like-minded artists and people that you work with, and you've mentioned a few already. I see that, and I think that that's a fantastic little hotspot of the culture.
It really is. Before I talk about any of that, I've got to make some things really clear. Ed O.G., Big Shug, Almighty RSO. Okay? These guys are the godfathers of our Boston hip-hop. Ed O.G. has certified hip-hop classics. RSO has a classic. Big Shug has a classic. Big Shug is the co-founder of Gang Starr, the gold standard of hip-hop recognized the world round. 2 out of the 3 members of Gang Starr are from where? Boston. Okay? 2 out of the 3. DJ Premier from Texas. Ed O.G., we are lucky to have you. The God E. Okay? Bugaboo, I Gotta Have It. Be a Father to Your Child. Those are hip-hop classics. Without a doubt. One in the Chamber by Almighty RSO. Classic. Crush by Big Shug. Right there, okay? Big Shug is such a thorough guy. His first single that he put out, Treat You Better, was a singing record in a time where rappers didn't sing. That's how thorough Shug was. Shug freestyled all of his records up until the Militia, and he wrote the verse for the Militia, was his first written verse. Ed O.G. is a gem. Big Shug is a gem. Everybody from RSO, all those guys, salute and props to them. The biggest problem in Boston, as it is to this day, we don't have a radio station here. We do not. That's the number one reason why most artists leave Boston to go other places, because the exposure just is not here. Okay? The camaraderie and the love that I see in Boston is much better now, and that's because, as Brad pointed out, we have the internet. So people have the ability to get music out and work with other artists, do collaborations. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. So now I see a lot more fluidity in the community so far as people looking out for one another, people trying to help people out, people shouting people out. It's not like a massive competition. We kind of, as a movement here in this city, have kind of recognized that together we are stronger. And I see that with a lot of cats, like Like I see that with Millie's. I see that with a lot of people. They're always looking to branch out and work within our own cipher and create, a movement here. The frustrating part is we don't have a record station. Okay, we do not have a record. We don't. A radio station, not a record station. We don't have a radio station, and we never have. I mean, like some of the first hip hop that ever got played here was by Magnus, and that was Lecos Limas, and that was in '85, and that started in a little radio station at MIT, and then we had WILD out of Dudley, and then we had WERS. And then 94.5 kind of had the launching pad and stuff for a while. Then Hot 97 was here for a second. But look at all the careers that got sprung out of Hot 97. That was when we had a real big radio station for once. That's what we had. I think Boston has always had a ton of talent. It has always been that way. Some of my favorite rappers that ever existed in the world are from Boston. Some of the most influential artists and people, rappers and artists in hip hop are from Boston. Hip hop classics out of Boston. So I do see a change in it now. The crowds are very different. The people are very different, but the mentality of the artists on a whole is in a different place. And that's because at least I think that some of them get to get heard. You guys got to understand something, okay? When you went to the studio when I was first coming up, it was a lot of money, right? You didn't have Pro Tools. You didn't have ADATs. You had to buy a 2-inch reel-to-reel Ampex tape, okay? And that had to go on a Studer, reel-to-reel recorder. And then you didn't have flying faders. You didn't have memory. You had tape on the board to mark down your sessions. And the studio was like $200 an hour. So when you went in there, you really had to get it popping. And DJs weren't playing cassettes. You had to have vinyl press stuff. You know what vinyl costs? You know what I mean? So back then to be an artist cost a lot of money. So there was a lot at stake. You know what I mean? Now, the advances in technology have made it a lot easier for us to make music way cheaper and get it out way easier. And I think that helps breed a more positive community. There's a lot of beautiful artists, man, men and women in our city, in New England. They are just, I'm really proud to be from here. You know what I mean? I'm really proud of the music scene here. I'm proud of everybody in it. I got a lot of guys that I work with that I follow and watch. I really enjoy, that I have a ton of love and respect for. I think the energy is as good as it's ever been. And I'm really excited to see what happens moving forward. You know what I mean? I love it.
Definitely. It is one of the best scenes in the country at the moment. Yeah. I think it has been for a long time, but now with the unity of it makes it that much better. And so what's your day-to-day listening? What are you listening to?
So this is really okay. So for me, I don't when I'm writing, I don't listen to anybody's music. When I'm writing and recording my music, I don't listen to nobody else's stuff. Right. My people will send me stuff like I'll get stuff from my homies that they'll send me. Or something like that, or Rockness will send me something new that he's working on, or you know what I mean. Like I'll get like snippets and stuff, for like that I want to hear. But for the most part, right now, if I listen to anything outside of the beats that I'm recording or the songs that I'm writing, it's probably like lo-fi. I don't even listen to any old school hip hop really. I have like a workout list, for when I'm hitting the heavy bag. But that's about it. Like I'll listen to some old, I'll listen to Motorhead, I'll listen to lo-fi, and then I listen to a lot of instrumentals. But mostly I don't listen to anything because I don't want to be influenced at all by anybody's music. I'm just telling you, that's just how it is for me. I singleness of purpose, you know what I mean? So I'm listening to my beats. That's what I'm listening to, That's what I'm listening to. Yeah. That's it's just, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like, there's a lot of rappers that I hear, like when I'm taking breaks, like I try to ingest a bunch of stuff, but like, I'm pretty focused on what I'm doing. And, I have a really weird way, the way I work. It's like, sometimes people will get at me and ask me to do like a guest spot. And I'm like, yeah, no. They're like, oh, but I'll pay you. I'm like, well, I know you're going to pay me. I go, but it's not about that. I can't do it right now. I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And it's like, you understand what I mean? Like, it's like there's a lot of great music out there and shit, but like I haven't heard the new DJ Premier and Nas yet. I haven't heard the new DJ Premier record.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, I get that, and I get that from your artist point of view.
Yeah.
Which is totally understandable. I want to know. Obviously, you were saying that the stuff on Heavy Hands was recorded a long time ago.
Some of it, most of it, yeah.
A long time ago, yeah. And so you got new work coming up. I mean, we just had Murder Pig, and you've had a lot of guest verses too. Like, if that was then and this is now, what else can we expect on some of the new stuff that you got coming up?
Yo. Oh my God, yo, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. That's why I'm really bummed out that I was sick for the show, because I was gonna give you all a couple. So hang on a minute, man. Hang on. So a lot of those songs on there, they were older. But like the new stuff coming, the new album is called Secrets and Lies. There are not a lot of guest spots on this record. This record is mostly me. And before that record even comes out, I've got a bunch of guest spot records that are coming out. So I just did, we just did a video for the Leeds record, Feed the Fire, or for the Leeds record, which is shout out to my manager, Leeds. That's my guy. He's been holding me down. Love that guy, an archetype, my producer, my favorite producer.
Great album too. Great album.
Yeah, it's a great album. You want to know what pissed me off, Brutus? This dude is my man, right? He's my man for like a long time. I work with him. I got 2 joints on the album, right? He didn't let me hear any of those other songs. So when I was in there, I was like, yo, you kept this from me? I'm like, yo, I'm going to beat you up when we done. I was salty. But I was like, yo, all the songs in there, I was blown away. So we just did Feed the Fire. I got another joint coming out with Wolfie on Friday called Take Me Back. I just did a banging song with my homie, oh my God, Lord Willing, called Broken Windows. And then I got a project that I'm working on that I think y'all are going to really dig. I executive produced and rapped and sang on this project for this group called Smart Bomb. And you guys are going to really, really dig it. It's like kind of this mix of old world and new. So we got a big single coming out for them at the end of August, September. That's going to come out. And then I got another big single coming out with me and Block McLeod off of my new album called Fingerprints. And it ain't what y'all expect at all. I'm really excited about it, man.
Well, we can tell. So that going back to that Leeds album, and that's funny because when I reviewed it, I remember saying like your verses stuck out. And
that was really flattered. Thank you. That was extremely generous of you to say that. I appreciate it, and that really meant a lot. And I got a lot of that, and that's I credit that to the hard work that I've been putting in, and all the time I've been spending in the studio with Ark and around a lot of other great artists, really sharpening my pen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, thank you. That was, I wanted to just thank you for that. That really took me back. I was like, wow, thank you. We need boosts. It's nice to hear shit like that. I'm not going to lie. It's nice to hear when somebody say that. Like somebody appreciate what you do. It's nice to hear that, Yeah.
And it was a fantastic record. It was just that your verses stuck out. But then having talked to you now and sitting there saying, you never heard any of the other tracks, but every time you go in there that you've got to be at a certain level because you don't want to get owned on your own track. For me now, that just completes that whole circle now. It's like, that's an moment for me. That's that I can just picture that now. Yeah. You hadn't heard anything else. You knew you were going to go on this record. You wanted to slay it, and that's why we got the result we did. So, no, that's cool, man.
You know what's really dope now? What I've been doing a lot more now with like Ark is like the Feed the Fire, right? That song wasn't a beat that exists. Like I wrote the melody and harmony of that song on my own, right? And then I go in with Ark, who's Yoda. You have all the Obi-Wan Kenobis you want. There's only one Yoda, okay? I go in there. Y'all ought to see this sometime. Maybe I'll stream it one time. But I go in there with a melody and a harmony and, and a bridge, and I'll sing it to him. And he gets on the keys and he starts putting the chords together around it. Then I explain to him what the vibe is and where it's going. And then he is able to connect in my brain to his and make that transcend into a beat. So that beat that you heard was not just created and I found a song in it, which I do as well, but like we made that from scratch. You understand? So it's like almost like a live band. So we're writing songs from scratch. You know what I mean? And making the beat right there in the studio, then recording the hook over it and then layering it. And dude, listen, it's like, it's a really fun process. It's really taking me to that next place. You know what I mean? And Archetype is responsible for my sound and my ability to he is really zeroed in on my singing. And because I've always been able to I have like almost perfect pitch. So if you notice on my songs, when I rap, my cadence and my tone are always pitched to the beat. Okay, that's what makes it so big, because I'm able to match the tone because I hear the tone. When I write raps, I don't write them with the beat playing. I listen to the beat and I store it in my head, and then I hear it in here, and I write everything that way. Weird, right? I'm a weird guy, and I say.
Everybody has their process.
Idiot savant minus the savant, right?
Everybody has their process. You've worked with a lot of big names. What was the best experience you had working with an artist?
Oh, Christ. In what capacity do you mean?
Just
like the end result, or
like the whole creative process?
Man, that's a tough
question.
It's a hard question because Archetype. Archetype. I mean, if you're talking about one of my favorite rappers that I worked with,
yeah. What was the best experience?
Me and Sean had a lot of fun. Me and Rock have a lot of fun. Those two, me and Slane have a lot of fun. Yeah, I have a lot of fun, man. You know, like I like to laugh. I like to make people laugh. You know what I mean? Sean was like a super funny guy, right? Like Sean and I, we laughed so much doing the Credibility video. We had stomach aches. Me and Rock, Rock's like family. You know, when Rock come to Boston, he stay at my house. Like, he know my kids, everything. You know what I mean? So it's like Sean said, fuck a hip hop. That's family. Me and Slane have been making music together before Slane was like Slane. You know what I mean? Slane was like just starting. And it was just after he changed his name from John Doe to Slane. And then I met him and I did so. God, I mean, those guys, man, Jesus. I mean, because those are the guys that I spent a lot of time around making music, you know. But like Jason, Big One, and G Squared, I don't know, man. Sean and I had a lot of fun. We had instant chemistry, and so did me and Rockness. Me and Slane came up together a lot. You know what I mean? So there's a affinity there. And my favorite person to make music with is Archetype. You know what I mean? He's my favorite producer. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you look, it takes a long time to find that symmetry. You know what I mean? Because I've worked with unbelievable producers like Pete Boards, John Glass, Rain, Pete Rock. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are like masters at their craft, but you know, it's very rare that you get to have like that symmetry, like that connection. That connection is a hard thing to find. Yo, when you find a good barber, you stick with your barber, right? You know what I mean? Right. It's a very similar kind of synopsis. You know what I mean? The Sean Price record was special though, because that was like my first really big feature. And Sean really looked me out, man. Like when I went down to New York to do a record release for Matt Diamond, Coal Mine Records. And there was somebody that was in the room, I'm not gonna say his name, but he was like going on like third or something. And And Sean was like, yo, why is this dude going on third? XL should be going on third. XL's way better than that guy. And the guy was standing, Rock was like, yo, man, son is standing right there. And I was like, oh, man, right? But like I opened up the show. I went on before R-Rated Rugged Man. Sean came out, who was the headliner. He came out, even though he was the headliner, I was the opening act, the first one up. He came out and did Credibility with me in Brooklyn. Do you know what a look that was? Oh my God, dude. Like that meant the world to me. You know, that was so much love in that moment, dude. I was overwhelmed. I miss Sean, man. I miss Sean's laugh.
He seems like the type of guy that was just like bigger than life. Like even through his music, through any interview, anything, as a fan, you kind of like almost know him. Because he just connects right through any type of bullshit. He's just him. And he was a great artist.
Fucking funny. He was so funny. You know, you want to know? Sean is like the second funniest rapper I know. Do you know who the funniest fucking rapper is in the history of rappers? Big Suge. Yo, listen. Big Suge, first of all, will freestyle your favorite rapper into the dirt, right? Like, no joke. And if that don't work, Big Suge snaps are so vicious. I've seen people cry and get mad because they can't fight him, right? Because he slapped Earth, Wind, and Fire out of you, right? Yo, he told, hold on. Yo, he told Craig Mack that it looked like Inchman, the little tiny guy, jumped in his mouth and shot his way out. Rest in peace, Craig Mack. Yeah, he told he told Biz Markie he had a cash registered jaw. Dude, I almost fell out. That dude that dude.
That's messed up.
And Sean was like equally as funny. You know what I mean? Just like super, super funny guy, very charismatic, very likable. And his laugh. I miss Sean's laugh and his music, obviously, but I miss that laugh. He had this great laugh. He had this unbelievable laugh, man. It was really great. Really great. That was a special record. You know, honestly, truth be told, there was an original version of Credibility that y'all never heard. A different beat. And story behind it was, shout out to Shuko, platinum producer from Germany, unbelievable producer and beat maker. Guy is brilliant. He had an offer from a really, really huge hip hop organization at that time. And he was like, X, so-and-so, we already had the song done and the video done. And he was like, X, so-and-so hit me up about the beat that I gave you. I'm like, dude, you got to take that shot. I'm like, that's all right, homie. He goes, how can I make it up to you? I'm like, give me 2 more beats. You know what I mean? Remix this one and give me 2 more beats. If you look hard enough on the internet, on YouTube, if you look up XL the Beast Credibility on YouTube, you can find the alternate version. It's still out there floating around. A little homework assignment.
We'll have to look for it. Post it up somewhere.
Yeah, do it.
That's a challenge for the hip hop lifers or anyone watching this.
Go for it, people.
Go find it. Post it in the group. We'll find out.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. Just a question for you, X. Obviously you've worked with some amazing people. You have a very particular style and a way of doing it. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with that you were like, oh man, I would love to experience working with someone?
Yes. It's not a very big list. It does grow when I hear certain artists. You know what I mean? Redman is one that I really want to work with because Redman had a profound impact on me. I work with Sean. I work with Rockness a lot. I work with Sky Zoo, who I love. That was great. So Redman, I'd love to do a song with Jelly Roll. I'd love to do a song with I love Post Malone, man. I love that guy. He's great. I think he's great. I'd like to do a song with Millie's. And DJ Premier. DJ Premier for me is like That's it. You know what I mean? He's it.
Yeah.
He's DJ Premier has remained relevant in hip hop as a producer and a DJ for like 30 years, and he has never lost a step or been taken out of the mix. He doesn't sell headphones. He doesn't sell vitamin water. He doesn't have a weed line. You know what I mean? He is a DJ, a beat maker, and a producer. And he is just like diamond status. That guy, can you imagine a Primo beat, me on a Primo beat, me singing the hook and him accompanying the hook with cuts? Oh my God, right? Like, that's going to happen. I'm going to make that happen before I die. So Primo, Redman, Jelly Roll, Millie's, but I really, who I really like, who like really has got dope music outside of the battle realm is Math Hoffa. I really like Math Hoffa a lot, man. I really dig that guy, man. He's got great punchlines, but he's been able to make this transition that a lot of the other guys have a hard time making, it seems, So yeah, those are pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool.
Word. Well, we're coming up to our end of our time here, so I want to know what you got coming up besides your album. You got anything going on?
Well, I mean, that process is going to take a while. I've got so Secrets and Lies album is about 80% recorded. We're dialing in the rest of that. I've got a podcast also called Secrets and Lies, which we've been working on for about a year. It's going to be a tremendous podcast. It's going to be great. It's a lot of work goes into this podcast and stuff, especially when you're doing it by yourself and you're not like really bringing on too many guests. It's hard to fill that space and know what to do with it. So it's taking me time to do it. So I've got that I'm working on. I have a project, like I said, Smart Bomb, that I executive produce with the Archetype. That's going to be coming out. And geez, I'm doing a bunch of licensing work and stuff that I just got done doing. Like that was one of the songs that got played during the Celtics game. Which was amazing.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. I do a lot of that work, you know what I mean? And it's really it's a lot of fun to do it, and it's lucrative at the same time. So I would tell artists out there to try to get into licensing and voiceover work if you can, to expand your library to create that passive income for yourself. It really helps when it comes to them to reinvest into your music. So yeah, man, just that, trying to stay healthy. I've been some talk about going overseas, doing some shows, maybe over to like Sweden and Switzerland and stuff like that. And I'd like to try to get a passport handy, maybe hit the road, maybe, do a 30, 40-day tour overseas. But right now, pretty much just focus on Smart Bomb, and I got a bunch of videos that I'm shooting. So stuff like that. Just trying to, it's a lot. It's a very committed process to record and finish an album. You know what I mean? And then I write treatments for all my videos. So they're going to be like a lot of mini movies coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if you're touring, we'll gladly have you down in Australia, man. Would love it.
Bring me down. Just keep them funnel web spiders away from me, and them boxing ass kangaroos away from me, and we're good.
There's all kinds of shit down there that can kill you.
Yo, you scared the shit out of me down there, Brutus. I'm like, that shit scared the hell out of me down there.
I think you can hold your own against the kangaroo, my friend.
I don't want to find out.
No, that's true. Quick, unrelated question. Would you trade Jaylen Brown for KD?
What's that?
Would you trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant?
Oh, man. It's Kevin Durant. I mean, jeez. I don't know, man. I'm not going to answer that. How old is Durant now?
34.
Something like that. 34, 35.
And how old is Brown?
27. Maybe younger.
So I'm saying, what's the ceiling on Brown's talents, and what's the time of the decline for Durant? And what about all the pieces, like the accoutrement to go with Durant in order to make that a viable trade? And then is Brown reached the ceiling, or does he have more to go? I don't know, man. People that make a lot of money make those decisions. I'm gonna leave it up to them, man. You know, I'm going to leave it up to, I don't watch a lot of basketball anymore. I don't watch a lot of football anymore. I don't watch a lot of sports anymore. I work too much. The one sport that I do watch, that I always watch, is boxing, because life is a lot like boxing. And you can tell a lot by the state of the heavyweight division about the way the state of the world. Pay attention. Okay? Man on man, you against another man, your preparation, your determination, your will to win, your ability to stay cool under pressure is going to determine who the victor or the loser is going to be. How you deal with that fear. Okay? There's only a small difference between a hero and a coward. When they meet, it's what they do in that moment.
Oh, yeah. All right, my man. Thank you so much for being on.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you guys keep up the great work, and thank you for all the work you're doing for hip hop. And I got nothing but love for you guys, and I'm really grateful that you took the time to have me on. I wish you both continued success. Stay on your path, stay on the road. I'll always be here to support you, and I have a ton of respect for you both. Shout outs to all the lifers as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, X.
All right, baby. Be good.
Doing time, episode 14 in the books. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.